I've done a couple of videos of late on, health, fasting for health, and also the idea of the body, bringing the body along the journey, and getting caught up in like gym culture and things like that. Is it a good thing? To what extent is it a good thing to be working out and all these things? And obviously, from an Orthodox point of view, it's like, well, obviously, Liz, we are spiritual father, or mother. That's always a good port of call. Looking at the literature, which is the main thrust of this channel, um, and related it to personal experience, I'm very much aware that there's like different types of health. Obviously, we're all aware. There's physical health, emotional health. People talk about today, psychological health, mental health, massive, the topic of so much discussion today. But what about spiritual health? We've lost that altogether. And, Father Paisius talks about in one of these volumes, there's 6 of these, in his discussions and Q&As with his the community of nuns that he served and led, the Holy Hesychasterion, in Thessaloniki, Greece. Now, in one of these, I think it's in the volume with Sorrow for Modern Man, with Lament and Sorrow for Modern Man, I think is the name of the tome. He talks about how we've lost this idea of spiritual health, and we've got to put the psyche back into psychology. We've got to put the soul back into psychology, because otherwise we can't really heal people. We are souls. And I tell you what, I think that's one of the major beauties of the Orthodox spirituality, is that it makes you wake up to the fact you are a soul. Because the very aim to pray with the heart, to find the deep heart, to find a way to the deep heart, to understand that the mind is not just reason and rational thoughts, syllogisms and logic, but is intuition, the nous, the noetic faculty, capable of experiencing God in a direct way, through his divine grace and energy, the divine energies of God, the divine workings of God, that we can connect to it through the nous and the heart, the deep heart. All of this makes us understand that we are souls, to experience the soul. And in experiencing the soul, experience the power of the soul, and how much more of life it is than the body. And therefore, this video is really basically saying, look, the greatest health is spiritual health. And when that's in place, well, maybe all the rest of them will fall into place, but that is the most crucial of healths. I've seen me at times, going down the gym, or, even back in the day, I did some yoga for a bit. And whilst I was physically in great shape, very flexible, lots of energy, mentally, spiritually, I wasn't in a great place at all. I was starting to get quite eclectic in my spirituality, leaning towards the East and all the rest of it, the Far East, that is. So spiritual health is the main thing. Divine grace, forgive me. Saint Silouan, in his book, in Saint Sophroni's collection of his writings, commentary on his life, Saint Silouan the Athonite, says, when grace dwells within us, the spirit glows and reaches day and night towards the Lord, for grace impels the soul to love God. And now that she has come to love him, she cannot tear herself away from him. Never can she have enough of the tenderness of the Holy Spirit. There is no end to God's love. He says, I know a man, probably himself, whom the Lord in his mercy visited with his grace, and had And had the Lord asked him, wouldst thou have me give you some more? From weakness of the flesh his soul would have made answer, Thou seest, Lord, I cannot bear any more. Man is compassed about and cannot carry the fullness of grace. Thus on Mount Tabor the disciples fell on their faces before the glory of the Lord, and no man can conceive how the Lord gives grace to the soul. No man can conceive the power of the divine liturgy when approached with humility and openness and due preparation. St. Paisius, let's see what he has to say. I just want to turn to that idea that the most important type of health is spiritual health. And when that's in place, everything else is in place. But if it's not, even though you might have the most buff body, zero body fat, whatever it is you're after, you won't be happy. You won't have true peace. Through sin, he says, man himself turns the earthly paradise into an earthly hell. If his soul is polluted with mortal sins, he lives in a demonic state, is fiercely defensive, is tormented and finds no peace. On the contrary, whoever is close to God, whoever keeps his mind on higher things, on things above, and always maintains good and positive thoughts in his mind, will remain peaceful and live in paradise while on earth. Such a person has quite a different aura from the person who remains distanced from God. It is obvious to others. This then is the divine grace that gives a person away even when he conceals himself. How important then, St. Paisius is saying here, spiritual health, the health of all healths. And sometimes I suppose in a bid to really mine into this spiritual health and feeling the sweetness of God's presence, the power of prayer and the power of the liturgy and the beauty of the Orthodox way, one can be tempted to think, forget all the other healths. Because they do pale in significance compared to this health of the soul that can make it glow with joy and radiance and heaven itself, bringing heaven itself to earth, as it were. However, we do need the vehicle maintenance as well, and that's was why I was exploring some of the other stuff. Forgive me. Hope that's useful.